And as a fighter, when you're doing your competing and being the director or co-director of a gym, what's that like trying to navigate both of them?
That's difficult, and I'm so thankful. Obviously, I got help from my brother. Obviously, both of us just working at it, so it didn't all go towards me. You know, I could also train, and my brother could take a lot of the weight onto his shoulders, and run behind the scenes. And I could be more the face, things like that.
Welcome to the Seva Show. We have Anthony Drilich in the studio, in the flesh. Now, Anthony is an MMA fighter. He runs a gym, and he's come on to talk everything about fitness, learning martial arts, and just being a good person. Really, you're a good person.
I like to think I am, yeah.
All right, let's unpack. Now, Anthony, are you living your best life?
Yeah, definitely. I would say I am. Obviously, like anyone, they always want more and want a better life or this or that. But I think overall, you know, I guess compared to the world, and you know, I can be grateful for what I have and everything like that, and you know, and I've got nothing to complain about. So yeah, I would say I have a good life. Excellent,
excellent. What's your secret to having to live a best life?
There's so many things, isn't there? I guess family and community is a big one. You know, just for instance, like our gym in DCA, we run a great community there. We have a lot of people, male, female, young, old, doesn't matter. And we just have a good time, learn jiu-jitsu, learn MMA, and yeah, have fun, get fit, and seems to be no problems. And we try to keep it like that. There's, you know, no egos. You know, people always think, you know, you're gonna rock up to a boxing gym or an MMA gym or whatnot, and it's just gonna be guys trying to bash the hell out of you, and it's just gonna be everyone all macho or whatever. But it's far from that.
Yeah, yeah. What first drew you to MMA?
I'd have to say my father. He did martial arts growing up himself, and I guess, yeah, he just kind of showed us like some stuff and taught us. And growing up, obviously, just seeing that and watching it in just movies, you just, you know, it's instilled in you, and I think I just had that passion straight off the bat and enjoyed it, loved it, and yeah, I found it was good for me, both physically and mentally.
Yeah. And how did it become more than just a hobby or an interest for you?
I guess it got to the point where I was like, I can make this my career. You know, I competed young and did jiu-jitsu competitions and things like that, and I was doing well, and you know, I was like, well, you know, I'm winning these competitions and whatnot, and I'm feeling good, and I feel like, you know, I'm winning. I think I can go the next step and make this more of a full-time job, and you know, try to get somewhere with it.
Yeah. And have you had some losses in throughout that journey?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're always gonna, you know, suffer losses no matter how good you are. Unless maybe like you're Floyd Mayweather or something. But you know, yeah, you have losses, and it is what it is for me. You know, obviously, I think for even myself, and I could probably speak to a lot of other people, it's always the first loss that's always the hardest. You know, that kicks in the deepest, and it stabs you. You know, so once you get over that, it's like you either suck it up and just go again, or you just admit defeat, I guess. So, you know, it takes a little time, especially on the first loss, but you know, you get over it, then you go, all right, back on, you know, get back to plan and get back on it and keep going.
And throughout high school, you were competing, you were fighting?
Yeah. Through high school, I was competing, yes. Yeah.
What was it like? What was high school life like being a fighter? Even though it was, you know, professional fighting, it wasn't, you know, for shits and gigs.
Obviously, yeah, like people knew, so I guess they left you alone in that sort of way. So I had no problems in that, like with anything like bullying or anything. You know, I normally stood up for myself, and you know, stood up for other people. So in that sort of sense, I didn't have any problems. Yeah, it was fine. I just did my thing. You know, I wasn't really out there with it. I just studied, you know, did my thing. Then after school's finished, I went and trained. That was my routine. So yeah, it was pretty smooth sailing, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds like an amazing high school journey.
I can't say it wasn't too bad, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Did you ever have a time in high school where someone tried to pick on you?
Yeah, I'd say early high school, because I came from Queensland originally, so, you know, came over, everything's new. And the first school, I think it must have been like maybe a month in. It wasn't even in school, it was right after school. And I was on a playground, you know, and we're just walking home, and someone wanted to give me a go. And I think I only just started doing jiu-jitsu then. So, yeah, he just started throwing at me, and I kind of just moved out the way, then snapped his head down, just held him in like a bit of a choke, and held him there for a couple seconds, and he settled down. And that was that. And I was like, oh, I'm going to keep doing this jiu-jitsu thing. I think it's, you know, it's helping me out. So, yeah, haven't really had much problems after that.
Yeah, it's handy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what did they teach you there other than obviously, you know, self-defense and professionally when you're fighting on the offense? What else is a huge factor in martial arts that they teach you?
Discipline. I'd say discipline. Yeah, obviously you gotta rock up on certain days. You train, you know. If you're competing, discipline's obviously a major thing. You know, you got to be on weight, have your diet right, you got to train right, things like that. You know, sleep right and everything else. So, yeah, discipline's a major key, I think, to even going anywhere, both amateur or pro. And yeah, you know, keep it pretty simple. You know, I keep my routine, keep out of trouble. You know, do my thing. You know, and yeah, stick to the plan. And it seems to be going alright so far. You know, obviously you have your bumps and or your hiccups, but yeah, I just keep moving forward. Yeah, keep trucking along. You know, yeah.
And then when you finished high school, what was next for you there? Because how old are you, by the way?
I'm 30.
You're 30?
30, yeah.
So you would have graduated in 2012? 12-ish?
Yes.
Yeah?
I believe so, yeah.
And 2012, what did you do next? Did you do any further studies? Did you start working straight away? What was your journey like then?
Yeah, I got to a point, I think like that crossroad, you know, you're like, school's done, like, where do I go? Do I work? Do I study? Do I go here? Do I maybe go to the military? And it just took, you know, I think, what did I do first? I think I applied for the military originally, and I wanted a combat role because my old gym was full of like SAS guys and clearance divers and things like that, and I was like, that's cool, like, I'd like to become that. And yeah, I went there, did all the testing, was fine. Then the red-green colorblindness test came up, and I'm red-green colorblind.
Wow.
And I knew, but I took my chances, and they're like, nah, well, obviously things like a combat role are probably out of this. So went to the next avenue, and I just started working, I think. And I wanted to study, but I didn't find any real passion. You know, I was like, what do I want to do? Maybe I'll just work and earn some money first. So did things like carpentry and worked bars and earned money and trained and had a bit of time off. Then I think after a few years, you know, I was like, all right, well, you know, I might pick up where I started with the fighting and got, you know, dug back into it and then went 100%. And then here I am, you know, so. Yeah.
What got you started in your first gym?
Honestly, it was me and my brother were talking, and we were like, let's start a gym. It was as simple as that. We're just talking, and I was like, let's start a gym. Let's do it. And then from there, we're just, you know, where do we go? My brother was living up towards Joondalup, so I was like, I'll just come up to you and we'll get this going. And, you know, one step after another, you know, planning where we're going to set up, you know, things we're going to need, all the logistics and everything behind it and coaching, and then balancing that up with my fighting as well. So, yeah, we just one thing after another and just got it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you feel like it was a bit of a risk?
Yeah, 100%. We knew it was a risk. We're still doing the risk right now. And we started during COVID. I think it was right before COVID or just when it was starting. So we're like, all right, well, this is going to make or break us right now, you know. And we were passionate and we were confident. We knew we had a good product, you know. So from there, we're like, well, this is the gamble. Let's do it. We're all in now. So, yeah, and we pushed through and, yeah, we're all good and doing well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And, yeah, through COVID, if you could push through it as a business, whether you were starting out or you're already established and you felt a bit of a lull, if you get through something like that, you're gonna be all right.
Especially being a fitness gym and with all the COVID and all the restrictions and all that. Yeah.
I remember because I used to be a personal trainer. I packed up my business probably around 2017, 2018 formally. But I did it out of my house because the gym that I used to use. They upped my rent way too much and my overheads were way too much. So I did it out of my lounge room. Made $50,000 a year as a full-time uni student. But eventually I got my degree and said, well, I'd rather do that. I didn't want to do both.
Yeah.
And I want to have more time for me. And I had one guy, though, that I kept training because he's a big time financial advisor here in Perth. And it was just three times a week, one-on-one, 6 a.m. And then just talking about money, about finance for 5 years. So it was like a perfect scenario for me. And then that was still throughout COVID, kept training him. He'd rock up. Fuck it, my house, who cares? Yeah. And then actually I remember that throughout COVID, I sold all my stuff. I sold all my gym stuff just before the rush of buying all the gym stuff was a thing. So I could have made a bit of money. I had all the kettlebells and stuff. If I started a gym now, it would be in my house. It wouldn't be commercialized or people would come. It would just be for me and my wife and my future kids.
Which is fair enough.
It'd just be, I just need a cable machine and need a squat rack and kettlebells. And maybe, you know those dumbbells you can get where it's like, it's in on itself and it's like you just move a pin?
Change the weight.
Yeah. Get one of them.
Yeah.
Or two of them. But yeah, so you have the gym and it's going well?
It's going well, yeah.
Right.
Consistently well, you know, normally has it's almost like seasons, you know, coming towards the end of the year, people start to drop out, things like that. And beginning of the year, they kind of pick up. And it seemed like throughout the whole year, it just consistently a bit up and down, which is normal. But
it's on an upwards scale.
Cool, yeah.
That's all you want.
Keeping a good community. Yeah. You know, got a good product. We look after, you know, we look after ours, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so got good people there and, yeah, just amazing. Yeah, can't ask for anything more, you know.
Nice. And as a fighter, when you're doing your competing and being the director or co-director of a gym, what's that like trying to navigate both of them?
It's difficult, and I'm so thankful. Obviously, I got help from my brother. Obviously, both of us just working at it, so it didn't all go towards me. You know, I could also train, and my brother could take a lot of the weight onto his shoulders, and run behind the scenes, and I could be more the face, things like that. Sorry, like went for a hard run before. So yeah, it definitely helps to have both of us working for the gym, you know. So yeah, a lot of weight off my shoulders. And when it comes to things like having a fight coming up, you know, so many weeks out, my brother will take a lot of that strain onto himself so I can focus just on fighting. So yeah, I'm thankful for him for that. So having a good like business partner and someone you can trust is definitely helpful.
What is it about the physical and mental challenges of, you know, preparing for a fight that you're motivated to push forward with, keeps you motivated?
I couldn't pick down to one thing, but, you know, winning, I guess.
Winning.
I guess if I had to point down to one thing, I guess it's winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. No other feeling like it.
Because like I love me some MMA. I watch the UFC. Excited about tomorrow. Spewing about the late change, but still going to be entertaining.
Definitely.
And UFC 311 for anybody who wants to date this podcast, they'll know. But I watch it. I'm like, man, I reckon I could do that. But man, I don't want to get punched in the face. Like, I actually want to get into grappling because I'm from the opposite, slightly 300 kilometers east of Dagestan.
Right.
So I grew up in the mountains, very similar mountains to those guys. In Kyrgyzstan, it's a bit more chill, but it's pretty rough around the edges. You're there to do or to die.
Okay.
It's the sort of background there. But when I watch them, I'm like, man, there is nothing else to do except for that, or farm, I guess. Yeah. You know, so yeah, just looking at the grappling and just the feeling of outmaneuvering someone else. It's like a chess game, except you get cauliflower ears.
That's pretty much, I've got one ugly ear so far, so it's only getting worse. Yeah. But yeah, like, even like that, like the chess match, I've spoken to a couple people, a good friend of mine, like Marcus, even described it. Like, he's like, people say it's like a chess match, go for go. He's like, I want all the goes. You know, he's like, I don't, that's what jiu-jitsu should be like. I just cancel everything out and I should have all the goes. And so I like how he said, and I was like, yeah, okay. You know, instead of go for go and make it a struggle, it's like, no, you become that good and you have all the goes.
Can you share a moment when you fully, truly felt the why of your career choice?
Why? I guess I got to go back to, I think it must have been after my first like proper loss, and that was like my second or third professional fight, I believe. Yeah, I think losing, you kind of like dig deeper into yourself instead of, you know, winning is winning. You just like, yeah, I get raised, it's a good time, but it's a losing that, you know, you're like, all right, I've lost. What do I do now? Like, why am I doing this? And yeah, and I'm still here. So, you know, I believe I can go somewhere with this. I believe I'm better than a lot of people. You know, and I'm only getting better. So, I believe I can be the best in the world and be a champion. So, I guess that's why I keep going as well. And yeah, it's I guess it's just deep down. You know, you just strive to win and strive to be the best of what I am, and, you know, be a martial artist and be a professional fighter.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We've got some quality talent coming out of Perth in the UFC roster. Two more of the recent ones coming into, I think, debut. Have you trained with those guys?
Yeah. Like, we're a pretty tight-knit community,
Yeah.
generally speaking. Yeah, like I met a lot of famous people, like famous UFC fighters, MMA fighters, and yeah, great dudes. I guess I can give it to the Australians. Like, we're pretty like respectful, you know, we're good athletes, you know, train hard, work hard, and we go there to win. And, you know, you don't get many of us who are like, you know, crazy outspoken and all that. And, you know, we seem to be pretty, you know, like true blue kind of, you know, we go there to fight, and that's that. So, yeah, I've trained with both of them. I've trained, obviously, got like Jack Jeller, great guy. I train with him personally. You know, we're from the same gym, so yeah, it's just like another thing for me with meeting, you know, a high level famous UFC fighter. You know, it just seems to be a part of it now.
Yeah. And what about the entertaining part on and off let's call it the octagon? You know, the fighters like Conor McGregor, Sugar, and then you got some other ones that are trying to be like them.
Yeah.
There's an element there that the more people you draw in, the more, you know, money you can collect. What are your thoughts about that aspect of the game?
Oh, I've got to give it to, like, say, like Conor McGregor. He's a good shit talker. You know, he brings the people in. Whether you love him or hate him, you want to watch him. So I can give him that way. You know, for myself, like, I just be myself, not unless something seriously drastic happens where I'm like, man, I gotta put some act on at least or something. But I don't know, I'm gonna see where I can go, just being myself. And, you know, I think, you know, this is the true me. I'm not that crazy, you know. I don't jump up and down, but yeah, I'll see where that goes and go from there, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah, I like to represent Australia, represent myself well. So, you know, I don't want to be going crazy and swearing at everyone, and, you know, that's not me. So
no, it's not you.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing a lot in the Facebook comments and just the forums of MMA is people go, this fight is boring. He's got no personality. I'm not talking about you, just in general. They're boring. Or the Dagestanis, it's just like, yeah, boring. Another boring wrestle match.
Yeah.
I've been watching it for over 10 years now, right? I wouldn't call me a casual fan, but I'm up there. Like, I've seen a few eras come through. But the latest era of fans, it's like they want a dopamine hit. It's like they want a knockout in the first punch of the first round.
Yeah.
Why do you reckon? You have any thoughts on that?
I I don't know whether it's just social media or,
Yeah.
you know, obviously MMA's been around for long enough, you know. I think people just want that next big thing, you know, and they just want more.
Drama.
Yeah, drama.
Okay, watch
They want
the wrestling.
You know, I don't think every Rocky, you know, I don't think every fight's gonna be like a Rocky Balboa fight where they're both just punching the hell out of each other,
Yeah.
and you know, it is entertaining when it is though.
Unless it's Max Holloway.
Yeah, that's Max. Yeah, he throws down. So
Yeah.
but yeah, like it happens, you know, and for things like grappling, you know, I guess if you're casually just watch it, you know, obviously watching like say like people just wrestle or doing jiu-jitsu that don't have a full understanding as well what's happening.
Yeah.
So all they see is just like a person laying on top of a person and just kind of punching them every now and again. But there's a lot to it, you know.
Yeah. Break it down for me. I'm on my knees, head's on the floor. I'm trying to protect myself from being punched from the side, and the guy's got me full mount from behind, but nothing's happening. What's actually happening?
Well, you crush me for one. Like, it's not just dead weight that's being applied to you. Like a good wrestler or a jiu-jitsu practitioner, like, you know, they're controlling like the weight where your center of gravity is. You know, turning you left and right and dragging you back into the mat or pushing your head into the mat. And, you know, it's not like I'm just like laying over the top of you like a wet rag. And there's a lot of manipulation and controlling of like the legs and arms and core and everything like that. So yeah, it looks like not much is happening, but there's a lot of tension and moving and controlling, happening just within that.
Yeah, yeah. I love hearing the crowd when they're cheering when they finally get up, you know. But I'm seeing it. I've watched a lot more of the groundwork, and man, like it's just like the other guy's not a wrestler clearly, and then it's obviously Dagestani that does it. They go straight for that one leg, bring them down, and then just wear them out, and then they just go for the finish. It's like it's a routine, you know. It's a saga. It's the Dagestani saga. You would have seen this. What sort of a fighter are you?
Oh, well, if you just go off my record, I guess people would say I'm like a knockout type of person. Mm-hmm. Got a few knockouts, and I enjoy being able to put like a good combo on an opponent, you know, both for entertainment factor and it's what the people want really. You know? It's like, I'm not gonna, I'm not a person unless I really have to, like I'm hurt or rocked or something, I'm gonna hold you down, you know, I'm trying to make it entertaining. It's still it is entertainment at the end of the day, you know, so I got a balance between winning the fight and entertaining as well, because, Khabib done it well, but he punches people, you know, he goes for things, you know, if you're just, locking people down, doing absolutely nothing for 3 or 5 rounds, you know, people are not going to want to, they're not going to want to watch you. So, being able to just be like adaptive and, be, putting punches out, putting strikes out and, trying to make it at least, entertaining, even if I'm on the ground, trying to do something at least is what I try to do. But yeah, I guess overall, I'd say, I guess I'm a knockout person. I guess I like to strike.
Yeah. Striker.
Yeah.
All right.
But I can do both. So.
Some of my favorite clips I see on MMA social media world is the slow-mo combos.
Yeah.
And then it's just, when it's slowed down, you just appreciate it a little bit more. And in the moment, it happens so quickly, but that's what you train for. You train for that speed, but to be able to feel like it's slow motion, right?
Yeah. When
was the last loss you had? Was it recent or
recent? My last fight.
Yeah.
So that was for Dana White Contender Series. Mm-hmm. That was in Vegas, and lost on points. Is what it is. Mm. So I'm just back at it.
When's the next fight for you, or are you still part of that circuit, or what happens next?
Hopefully, I'm gonna be fighting in Perth in February for Eternal. So got to wait and see what happens, and go from there, and then hopefully get another shot. So normally works like that, and I just got to see where it goes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And when you were in Vegas, that training camp, you were there. How many months would you generally be there pre-fight?
I was there, I think a bit over a week.
Yeah.
So just enough time to, acclimatise, get used to being there,
Yeah, the jet lag.
Yeah, jet lag, of course. And, get a few workouts, nothing really too crazy. The camp's already done. It's just there to get, used to being there and, shake the cobwebs out. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think about what could have been if the points went your way? Not saying that your career's over at all.
Yeah.
But just, I want this to reflect for everybody watching and listening. When you have an opportunity like that and it doesn't kind of go your way then and there, obviously you mentioned you got something happening in February, but what was the next steps had the points gone your way?
If they decided they wanted to choose me, like I was entertaining enough, because they don't just go by just the win. So my opponent didn't even get the contract.
Yeah.
So let's say it was entertaining enough and they want to choose me, I guess I'll be in the circuit in the UFC, fighting someone.
Yeah.
So it'd be from there. I'd have my foot in the door, but it didn't happen. So I'm just going to work for it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the real entertaining factor you see in the UFC? You say combos, the grappling and the wrestling. The fans are not liking that, but those are still getting contracts.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? That's still a factor where people go, yep, or Dana goes, yep, they'll get a contract. Is it because of their winning? Is it because of just a disruption? What do you reckon?
I think to earn a spot, it has to be earned. So it's this person really wanted it, even if there wasn't a huge amount of things happening, you can clearly see this person was working and trying to at least attack, go for things, go for broke. So, you got to have that for that fight anyway, but you just got to be going for it. Really, you're there. That's your shot. You just got to go for broke and put a show on, and entertain everyone. But Dana White's I can see him being on the stage and going for it. Putting a good fight on. So, I think a few people haven't got in the last few months. So, and a lot of them were just obviously just to stand still, kind of just standing there, not doing a whole lot. And it didn't look like neither of them were kind of wanting to go for anything or go for that, go for broke.
Why not? Why do you think that happens?
It's a gamble, I think. It's that, maybe that move is just going to put you out. You don't want to just run in there and get yourself knocked out.
Of course.
So I think people get can balance, I can only speak for some of the fights I've seen. They're just tentative. They're just I don't know I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what's going to happen. And they're kind of a bit overly cautious, and it just gets dragged out to where they're they can't get a rhythm of, pushing forwards or get a rhythm of getting some strikes down. And then it kind of just gets dragged out to the end, and it ends like that. And it's damn, should have done something, but it's happened now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it can happen from that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a fair few of those where they're just dancing around the ring and they're not striking, but I understand why. But you're just going to go, come on, just someone do something.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. What was the feeling like when you first turned pro?
So I was pretty young. I think I was maybe 18, 19, something like that. It was just a decision. I was all right, well, I'm old enough. I've had enough competitions, had enough fights. I think it's time to go pro and get it going. I know I was this is the next step in my career, so let's do it. And then signed over as a pro, and then I think within a couple of months I was fighting my first pro fight, and the rest is history. Just kept it going.
Did you ever have any doubts or consider giving up?
Yeah, definitely. I'm always being tested, both mentally and physically. Fighting, especially professionally, it's not an easy walk in the park. You're always pushing yourself, always exhausted.
Yeah.
You wake up mornings I just don't want to train. I'm done. and just having the discipline and, you know, just being able to get yourself out of bed, you know, get your clothes on and just turn the car on and go to training. You know, I think that could be, it's a long drag, you know. You could be training for months just for one fight, and the fight's only like 15 minutes long or 9 minutes long, whatever it may be, you know. So you're doing months of training, intense training, just for like, you know, minutes. So, and that's where the game, you know, that's where you see people break down after a loss. You know, they're just like, I've given everything for months, gave so much sacrifice, and they lose, and it's just heartbreaking, which it is.
Would you ever do something for the Olympics or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. If I had the opportunity or given the opportunity to represent Australia in the Olympics, yeah, I'll definitely take it. Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you'd give to current aspiring young fighters out there?
Don't give up. Don't waste your time. And just keep going. You know, win or lose, whatever may happen, you know, you just got to fight. Just keep fighting, keep training, stay disciplined. Yeah. Don't go and drink too much. I think that's one of the biggest things, especially for young dudes. You know, obviously I'm running a gym with my brother. I grew up in a gym, and you just see, you know, you're like, you know, this person has so much potential. And that goes for a lot of other sports. You know, I've got plenty, you know, mates who are like, do other sports, and they've just ended up doing just a standard job, which is nothing wrong with. You know, you got to earn money, but you're like, you know, you could have become a great, you know, boxer. You know, for us it's MMA, so yeah, you watch them and they just, you know, go off and make a life out of themselves, but not in MMA. And I was like, oh, like maybe, you know, a couple more years, you know, you could have really went somewhere. Hey, you know, you never know. I guess that's where the gamble comes in, you know.
Yeah.
You got to dive right in and just go for it and see what happens sometimes. Yeah.
You have other interests and obsessions. You mentioned you like rifling.
Yep.
Yeah. So rifle shooting.
Yeah, rifle shooting, long distance rifle shooting. So
Far out. You spent 1 week in America, and you're into guns.
Yeah.
Bloody fighting.
Put an accent on, all,
Yeah.
cowboy hat.
How old were you when you shot your first gun?
I was young, just at a carnival. And this is when, like, you know, how they used to have the air rifles and the break open air rifles. And back then I knew it was like a actual pellet.
Yeah.
A steel pellet.
Hey.
Now it's like a corkscrew or something, like a cork. So.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're shooting down the ducks, and I think from there I was like, oh, like, I think I like this. Like,
I want to do the real thing.
Yeah, shooting the ducks down. I was like, this is cool. I'm good at this. You know?
Yeah, it's free protein if you do it for real.
That's it.
Well, it helps out with your MMA bulking or cutting.
That's it. So, yeah, I think from there I was like, well, I'm good at it. And, you know, I did archery as well growing up and things like that. So I've enjoyed shooting, enjoyed doing archery. And, yeah, just went to mates' farms every now and again, you know, shoot the rifles, you know, at whatever cans, you know, start plinking around. And I've always had fun with it. So,
what parallels do you see? Like, what parallels do you see between rifle shooting and the focus of MMA?
It's not as like people think you just, especially for myself, like we do up to 900 meters. So it's not as easy as just point and shoot. You know, there's a lot of factors. So you got to study into it. You got to both, like, even on the day, and I found this even with archery, if I'm like a lot of stress is happening, or, you know, things are happening in my life, you know, I'm not going to have a good day. So it's almost like meditation for me. I got to clear my mind. I got to breathe, you know, slow my heart rate down, start focusing in the moment. And then, you know, and it seems to be more successful when I shoot or do archery. And I kind of find the same when I do, you know, I have a fight. If I'm, you know, there's a million things happening, which there always is, you know, even if you try not to. So being able to just, you know, do the same kind of thing. It's almost like a meditation, you know, clear your head a bit, focus on the moment, focus on the fight, and yeah, go from there. Just go, you know, just stay focused on what's ahead of you.
Yeah. Have you seen those Winter Olympics events where they go skiing cross country and then they pull over and they do the shooting?
Yeah.
What's that called?
Oh, I forgot what it's called. I remember reading somewhere, apparently they're like the highest burning sport amongst the Olympics. Like, they burn the most calories.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it's not an easy sport.
Yeah.
I thought maybe like boxing or swimming or something would be one of the hardest ones, but apparently they cross over from skiing to shooting and going up hills and all that. Yeah,
Especially that
pretty damn
heart
hard.
rate when you get the gun out, and you're like, oh.
Oh, you're getting all the jitters and
Trying to regulate your heartbeat down as quickly as possible. That's insane.
Yeah,
You train for that sort of stuff.
Get fit for one, I guess.
Yeah.
Having good fitness. Even when I shoot, obviously, out to 900 meters, if you're got the jitters or you're not holding it right or there's
Had a
bit
cup of
fatigue.
coffee.
That's it. Yeah, coffees. You're not in a good position. Everything's jitters. So being able to to breathe in and slow everything down and try to just get everything calm and.
It's all about that preparation, eh?
Preparation, yeah.
Yeah. What's your fight day preparation look like? Talk me through it. Start of the day. You wake up. What happens next?
I wake up and then realize it's fight day. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Do you have a special ringtone when it's fight day to wake you up? Like Rocky or something?
Nah, nothing like that. Nah. Depending on the time and where it is. So if I have it like a hometown fight or maybe like over Eastern Queensland, I might just wake up naturally. If it's late in the afternoon, I try to get my meal in. A lot of it's recovery as well. It's not like people just think, especially if you're not really into fighting or any combat sports, like a lot of it is weight cutting towards the end of the fight, like right before the fight. So being able to rehydrate well, being able to shake out like any nerves, things like that.
For sure.
So just wake up in the morning, have some food, loosen up, shake everything out, and go from there. If I feel good, I get a nice light sweat on. Normally that's enough for me, and then normally just chill with my brother or my teammates, and then maybe a couple more snacks, head down, and go from there. Wait at the back until my name gets called up.
Wow. And then with the other fighter, do you study them ever, or do you?
Yeah, I do a bit of study, not a whole lot. My brother, my coaches, things like that, they do a lot more study. So I trust in what they have to say as well. So I'll look what I have to see about them, what they, maybe the last few fights, things like that. And we just strategize. My brother watches a lot. Coaches watch a lot. So got Ben Vick as my coach. So guys like that, they'll watch over and they'll go, all right, this guy does this or that. Maybe we need to work on this. This is his weaknesses and his strengths, and go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chip away.
Yeah.
And then when the referee says, go for it, it's, talk me through that first 10 seconds of that first round.
Bit of adrenaline, I guess. So I've competed for quite a while and had a few fights. So like people go like an adrenaline dump. So you get that shot of adrenaline. You just everything feels very focused and more tunneled. And I feel and then it's just all right, move your feet, do what you train for, hands up. And from there, it's kind of time goes on, it feels a bit slow, you're like, I don't know how long I've been doing this for sometimes. And then from there, just get a rhythm going, move, maybe put some punches out, maybe defending, and then from there, it kind of just comes natural. But I think the first 10 seconds is very, it's just a bit of tunnel vision. Everything kind of zooms back onto my opponent.
Yeah. Don't let them set a KO record. And
that's it. I don't want to run into anything.
Yeah, no knees to the head as they run into you. Far out. We've got the business. We'll talk about the business.
Yeah.
The gym. How'd you come up with the name?
We're thinking about a lot of names, we could make it like this, like that, and then I think it was myself. I think I was like, why don't we just make it with Drilich or something, And it was like, oh, I don't know, putting our name, we should just make it for everyone, and this. I was like, it's our gym, McDonald's do it, things like that, people put their name on it. And then eventually, my brother's like, all right, we'll make it DCA, Drilich Combat Academy. Something simple. Don't have to put the full name out. Then we went from there. Then we're like, all right, DCA. What color are we gonna do now? How are we gonna make this? So we did things like that. My brother's wife, she had a big role as well. Creative, and she's good with computers and art, and she's so she's coming up with ideas, and between us, eventually we just came up with I got DCA just here. So I just got the simple one, and I don't know if I got it on the back. There you go.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah.
The fern and all that.
Yeah, nice.
And then from there, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
So
so you got the logo, you got the name, and then the next steps. You got your things like your website, your socials, cover all those names. But what about the space? Tell me about how you acquired the space.
So we're looking towards obviously where we're living, so up Joondalup.
Is it still there?
Still there. So we started with one gym.
Yep.
Leased that place out, and nice spot, clean building. It just didn't have the space we wanted. We got to a certain number of people. We're like, we're getting close to capping here, and we'll still we want to expand. We want to get we want to become bigger.
How many people did you have?
At the time, maybe 80.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
Yeah.
Nice spot. It just got too small, and we wanted something bigger, something more, and we wanted to give. We didn't just want to just rake money and just keep a small gym, and just keep taking money. We're like, we're going to use this money to make something bigger, something greater than what we have now. And then so after a couple of years, we expanded. We just moved up the road, bigger spot, nicer, more frontage, more car parks.
Yeah.
All the things that we had problems with the first gym, we try to solve with the next gym. So then we opened up, and we've been there for a couple of years now, and liking it so far, and we probably want to expand even more, so probably later in the future.
Yeah.
So.
Do you know Daniel Maiden?
Daniel Maiden.
Yeah, Meadsy. He has OPS.
Not sure.
It's like a health gym.
Oh, right, okay.
OPS
Health. Could send me that after then.
It's where starts with a D used to be. Oh man, I've forgotten. It's near Harvey Norman.
Oh, in Joondalup?
Yeah, Joondalup.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. I remember helping him out when he moved out of his parents' shed.
Yep.
I documented it because I was into, filming and stuff. And then we moved into that first gym, and he had a mezzanine and a whole separate area upstairs for his mate, who was a jiu-jitsu black belt.
Oh, cool.
And then, they moved into a bigger space just across the road and just expanding as well. So you've got multiple locations now?
We just got the one.
Just got the one?
Got the one, yeah.
Yeah, you got the one. And how many people do you have in the books?
Oh,
So your brother's department?
Yeah, my brother's department. I can't say exactly, but I think we've got maybe 100, at least 100 plus now. Maybe 150-ish, something like that, maybe more. So,
if I was to start my gym business, and actually, to be honest, this is a legit question for me. If I was in 2015, what do I do in terms of seeing if I can afford the rent without knowing if I'm going to get enough customers to cover the overheads first? What's your play there?
I guess that's where the gamble comes in, as well as starting small, as well, and then working out for there. Working out of your house, and start from that. See what you can do. See what how your clients react. You find out pretty quick whether you're a good coach or not. I think if people are still coming back and they want to learn from you, and they want your business, it's maybe you got something.
Yeah.
So start from that. Having good people behind you is definitely going to help, and go from there. Build.
Yeah.
Build.
I've got a younger sister. She's 10 years junior, and we never really connected properly because by the time I was in high school, she started primary school, and by the time I finished high school, she was obviously still mingling. She was only getting into high school. And then by the time she finished high school, I was already out. I moved out. And because we grew up in Kalgoorlie, I moved to Perth already. So there was always that kind of 3 or 4 steps behind. And as we get older, we've had moments where we worked together in the same similar fields. She's into her fashion. I'm into my creative, content. And being me in front of the camera with the mic. But I've always been a little bit envious of people who have someone that's really close, gap. How was your brother again?
So we've got 2 years difference.
2 years.
He's 28, I'm 30.
So you're the older brother.
Yeah.
That's something that obviously I didn't get a good deal of cards in, but hey, things are working out.
Yeah.
Business partners come and go. I've had some experiences. Right business partners, wrong business partners. What about brothers as business partners? I mean, have you worked with anyone else outside of this to measure that, or have you only ever had your brother?
No.
What's it like having a family member to work with as a business? Has it changed the relationship in a bad way or a good way? How's that unfolded for you?
I think as we get older, we learn, what to accept as well. Yeah, it's like we're never gonna, you're not always gonna get along. That's a fact of life. It's like, But overall, like, from day to day, we work fine. It becomes more, we're not just hanging out, laughing, and whatever, cruising down the sunset and celebrating all the
You
time.
can literally beat him up.
Oh, yeah. If you ever met him, he's a lot bigger than me. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, he's a smaller brother, but he's bigger.
Yeah. So is that your comeback to him? It's like, make weight and I'll fight you.
Yeah, to get down to my weight. It's never gonna happen. It'll never happen. But we've always been close.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps. But our relationship, it seems to be good. We're brothers. We've grown up close. Even just like friend groups growing up, we somehow just intertwined them. It's like my mates all of a sudden become my brother's mates, and his mates become my mates. It's like, so everything kind of just like, we got to, I guess we got it sorted in that sort of way, And
What's your background?
Ethnicity?
Yeah.
So my father's side's Australian, so born and raised in Australia. And if you go deeper into it, he's got Croatian, so his father's Croatian.
Okay, that's where the name comes from.
Yeah, Drilich.
Yeah.
So, then got some English and some Scottish in there.
Yeah.
Mother's side's Filipino, and then she's got like some, somewhere down the line, some Chinese and some Spanish as well. So, Croatian.
What a culture mix.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, full blend.
Spice of life. Well, I love that because like I see this and sometimes I say controversial shit. Some people will say this is controversial,
It
but
don't bother me.
I feel like it's like a purebred dog, right? They say the purebred dogs have the most problems, but the ones that have a bit of mixing in them,
The mongrels,
they tend to be all right. I don't know if I'm a mongrel or not, but I grew up in Russia. We're from all around the motherland. But me coming here and having the background, obviously you're born and raised, but you have the parents. I've got that separate, like that first degree of separation between foreigners or immigrants. That your dad migrated, eh?
So my father's born and raised, but his father.
So 2 degrees.
Yeah.
Right.
And then my mother came over when she was younger.
Okay, so you got the mother's side from that perspective, right?
Yeah, she still has a full accent. Full Filipino.
Yeah, my mum's got full accent. Yeah. I've always thought that like the Australian people that have born and raised here. I'm gonna say the white Australian. You got the native Australian, you got the white Australian. First, second, third degree of separation between immigrant. I tend to see like the more degrees of separation there are, the more, I don't know, it's hard to say this without knowing that someone's going to see this and go, fuck you. But it's, they a bit complacent, more and more complacent. Now, it's not everybody, but like the foreigners, the immigrants, they get on with it.
Yeah.
They're most likely to get on with it.
Talking about business-wise and just living and just working.
Yeah, just business-wise, getting working.
It's like you see those old memes, and even like I can relate. Like when your parents or grandmothers like, I had to walk over 3 mountains and in the rain with just like some old shoes on. And what do you just get a free ride. You just get a car and got everything handed to you. So
well, I'm going to say that to my kids. I'm like, you see all this shit you got here? They won't have shit. All the stuff that they'll have, they'll appreciate. And it won't be any shit, but I'll say that. I was like, I literally grew up in the mountains.
Oh, did
but
you?
I didn't have to walk through the mountains. That was a leisurely thing. I like going fishing and duck hunting too. But like with proper bullets, not air. Well, we had air rifle too.
Oh, yeah.
But like migrating when I was a kid, it's not hard work. You're just like, cool, what's happening? We're on a plane. This is fun. Oh, fuck, where's this? It's hot.
Yeah.
But the immigrant thing, I've always.
So where were you born?
Russia.
Russia. Whereabouts in Russia?
In Kyrgyzstan.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you speak the language still?
Yeah.
Yeah? Wow, okay.
Yeah, 90% Muslim country. So, like, Muslim people.
Just with your accent alone,
Can relate.
you wouldn't know.
Yeah. I'm a sleeper. I'm waiting for Putin's code. The immigrant stuff and the family kind of dynamic.
Yeah.
You have a solid foundation. Are your parents still together?
Yep, still together.
And with a lot of guests that I've had on the podcast, a lot of them went through shit throughout their life. We all go through different sorts of shit. Yeah. And more shit, less shit, different shit, doesn't matter. It's still shit, and we've dealt with it. But what I've seen is the people that have had their parents separate in a nasty way or in maybe a chill way early on, there's some stuff that these people did that kind of set them back a lot. But that resilience they built up have, put them in a more of an advantageous spot. Like guy I talked to before you came in, parents divorced at 13. He got addicted to drugs.
Oh, wow.
He got addicted to gambling. And then he made it out.
Nice.
Right? You got a good draw of nature. Parents, foundation, solid.
I can give it to my parents, yeah.
You know, they raised you well.
Yeah. Way to go, mum and dad, if you ever watch this.
Yeah. And you got focused into something that was, helped you with discipline, helped you with all kinds of things, and you were able to leverage it as well, Because when I was playing footy, I played in the Waffle for 8 years. 2-3 years in, I was like, well, I'm going to start a personal training business, Yeah. It's like, why not? I can advertise myself as a footy player, I get trained by a Waffle player. Leverage. Yeah. So you've created that leverage organically. Was it ever in the plans, to start a gym, like early on in your life?
Not early. We just started the gym for the love of it and just getting a gym going.
That's
what we love to do.
Thing. That's the important thing.
Yeah, and I guess as we went on, we started going, what do we have to do to start getting more business? We had to become more business savvy instead of just going, we're just going to open a gym and then just hope for the best.
So where did you get your education from in that space, the business side of things?
Just school. I did business in school.
Were you interested back then at business?
Nah, not really.
But it was helpful.
A little bit.
It was helpful.
There was things that I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then they started doing tax and all that numbers. Just like, I don't,
But that's helpful.
That. I should have listened more on those sort of ones. But
one of those foundational things that some schools do, not many, is those lessons that will be applicable later in life if you become a business person. And I recommend everybody give it a go.
Yeah.
Especially with something you're passionate about, right?
Yeah.
When passion meets business knowledge and there's discipline in that, you got to absolutely crush it.
Just even within, like, for myself and as well as my brother, being in the field for so long, we've seen other gyms rise and fall or just keep rising, and we've just learned, things, what to do, what not to do, what works, what doesn't work. So we already had that, we're like, so when it came to us, myself and my brother building a gym, we could go, nah, that's probably not going to work. Remember what happened last time with Thingo? Things like that. So doing things like that and learning from other people's mistakes definitely, I think, helped for us as well.
Yeah. What do the next 12 months look like for you in the gym world, in the business space?
Just keep building, just keep our thing going, keep a good community going, and then just, do right by the people and they do right by us, and we just build and just, reinvest into them and buy things they need, and then it seems to be naturally and just works. It's like, our product is not just one thing, we're not just selling one thing, we're selling everything. We're selling community, you're learning, you're training, good environment. People use it to escape as well.
Yep.
We have people who are, police, paramedics, ex-soldiers, everything,
Cool.
all sorts of like mixed, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
It's not just one stereotype type of person. So we've got a massive mix of both male, female, all sorts, different careers, and some use it for training just to get fit, but a lot of them use it because it's like, I don't know, good community, I think, and it's like their little church almost. They train, they're not thinking about anything, and they learn, and it's just a good time. Euphoric, it's good for you.
Yeah, health and fitness should be a religion.
That's it, and you come out of it feeling good.
Yeah.
Maybe a little sore if you get beaten up, but even then,
I'm looking at my next 12 months in terms of my personal development outside of business. I definitely want to find a place like that south of the river. I had a place 4 minutes from my house when I lived north of the river, Athletic Institute. Love Corey Green to bits. You met Corey before? So his main focus is the youth, young athletes for the sports. AFL. He's a strength and conditioning coach for West Perth, and he's got a few things in the pipeline this year, which I'm really excited about. My wife's his interior designer for his next project, his expansion, which is like, we're part of the family.
Yeah.
But man, I wish we didn't live 40 minutes away. But we just want to live in Fremantle as close as possible.
That's like WA though, isn't it?
It is.
Like, only up the road. And I'm like, how long's up the road? Like, 2 hours away. You're just like,
yeah. When you live in Kalgoorlie for so long, everything's close by. I had this thought the other week with a coach that that put me through her paces for 2 hours. It was a mindset thing.
Right, okay.
It was all about values and integrity. And you can't pass or fail. You just get a score and then you go, are you happy with this? Here's what this means. And then improve. But she also said that there's no such thing as success, only sacrifice. Now, this lady's 70, by the way. Her name's Jennifer Elliott. She's been on the podcast. And I looked at it, I was like, man, that's deep, but it's true. Success is only when you, it's inevitable if you sacrifice, and what are you willing to sacrifice? Yeah. What have you sacrificed to get to where you are today?
Like family, like time, really time. My time's gone to training. So things like birthdays, seeing friends, family, going here, going there, that doesn't happen for me. Especially during camp. So it's wake up in the morning, have your coffee or do your routine, go to training, go home and repeat it in the afternoon, and then just go to sleep and just go from there. Repeat it all over again for weeks on end. So, people are like, oh, it must be pretty awesome or this and that. I'm like, step into my boots and do it for a few months and go from there and see how it feels. Yeah.
And that's the other thing where people want to go, oh, I want to be an MMA fighter in the UFC, and they've not even punched a bag yet, or they haven't even gone to the gym before. Sure, they can start, but then that informed pessimism that they realize, they go, oh shit, this isn't for me, or this is hard. Of course it's hard.
Actions speak louder than the words.
Right.
Like that, we get that all the time. Not all the time, but that happens, of course. So, someone come up and I'm a young guy, he's like, I want to be in the UFC and fight. I'm like, okay, come down training every day, train, and go from there. And it's like, that's like the first thing. It's like, if you can step into the gym and train every day, being tired, maybe you're hungry, you do it, for at least a couple of years, and you show you're consistent and you're disciplined for this, and you want to do this, then we'll talk.
Yeah. That's my philosophy in business as well. When someone comes to me and says, Sev, I want to grow my brand organically. I don't want to pay for ads all the time. I want some, back of, we saw this video you posted 2 years ago. We want to hire you sort of thing. Because I get that all the time and people want that for them. That's 5 years of content.
Yeah.
That's 5 years of me picking up the phone going, what am I going to say to the camera today that someone might find 2 years from now going, he's my guy. And it's the same thing with my clients.
Yeah.
It's all just comes down to discipline, right?
I guess so.
Right?
Yeah.
Discipline, accountability. The other thing I learned recently is you can't be accountable for yourself. You're responsible for yourself. You can have other people be accountable for you. So that's what you sell. You sell accountability and discipline.
Yeah.
But people are responsible for their own discipline. You're just accountable for them. And that's, if I was to start a gym, not giving you advice, if I was to start a gym, I would sell accountability. It's like a subscription model. You want to become a UFC fighter? You come in here every day and we will be here for you. We will make sure you get the best possible training that we can offer for you to make it happen.
It goes the same for like weight loss or anything in
Yeah.
fitness. Yeah.
Weight loss, health kick, mobility. I remember when I was in the depths of PTing and everyone wanted to be, losing weight, being fit, being skinny. I'm like, how are you moving though? You haven't moved much, have you? No. Let's get you moving first.
Yeah.
We're not going to go hardcore yet because then you'll hate it straight away.
Yeah.
Like ease them into it. Do you believe it's effective in that way? Ease them into it?
I like to think it is. And it also depends on the person. Like I'm sure like if you get a client who's ex-special forces or something, he's probably not going to want to do baby steps. He's probably going to jump himself into there. Maybe it's a young dude, not even 50 kilos, and he's like, I've never touched the weight or I've never done anything other than sit behind a computer. It's like, all right, we're taking baby steps here. We're going to work our way up.
Yeah, otherwise you're doing a disservice, right?
That's it. Like, you'll break them.
Yeah. Do you ever turn anyone away?
Yeah. Not much. I think we're pretty lucky, to be honest. We get some good people coming in, but when they're not, we have to turn them away.
What do you say?
Pretty much, sorry, you're not welcome to come train at our gym. Like,
Whoa,
yeah.
harsh.
Sometimes you got to just be straight, I guess.
What do they do? What's the red flag for you, for a gym member?
Normally it's just like obvious things. Like someone's really just like, he just wants to go there and hurt someone maybe. Something like that. Like, obviously we're punching each other, but people are like, oh, that must be so violent. It's like, no, like we're not trying to hurt each other. Like I can clearly see this person just
you got to
using
score
skill.
a point.
Yeah,
it's just scoring a point.
Using your skill, you can see there's no like, I don't want to, you're not trying to drive your punches through the guy's head, So you can tell when someone's just training hard and actually trying to hurt someone.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, hey, you're crossing the line now, and give them a warning. And if they decide not to, it's like, hey, it's like, nah, like we can't have that here. We can't have you like physically hurting someone, So things like that. We haven't had it for ourselves, I don't believe yet. But like I've had it when I've coached other gyms, things like people have drug addictions, things like that, and you can kind of see it coming now onto the mat, just like the way they act, things like that. Normally it's a lot of things like that, or just it doesn't work, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So things like that.
Yeah.
We have to tell them straight.
Yeah.
No real nice way, or just sometimes they find out themselves. They're just like, nah. Normally give them a couple of days and see how they are. Then they just, this is not for me, and they leave. You're like, that's fine with me.
Yeah. I have a gi in my cupboard. I want to bring it out again.
Okay.
With the white belt still attached.
You got one stripe or anything on there?
No. I discovered Aikido
Aikido, okay, yeah.
And I was like, fuck, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is like just learn how to defend and just de-escalate as soon as you can.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be handy for teaching. They run you through a de-escalation course, by the way. You try and not touch the kids for as long as possible. If they come at you, you need to protect yourself, but you also need to protect them.
Okay.
Because there's just more paperwork if someone gets hurt. Most likely the kids. And I thought Aikido would be good. But I was doing Aikido, footy, uni, personal training business, girlfriend. Too many things.
Staying busy.
Too many
real
things.
busy, yeah.
Too many things. So 2 things is good. 1 thing is better. But if you have a missus, you gotta manage that too. Do you have a missus?
No.
Right.
No kids, nothing like that.
No kids.
So
No
I don't have
kids.
to worry about, raising a family and having
Is
to
that,
balance that.
is that something that you want?
Yeah, sure. Like later down the line, I haven't really thought about it a whole lot lately. I'm pretty focused on fighting and doing something with it and running the business than I am trying to run around and have a mark or
Fair enough.
So yeah.
Yeah, the right one comes along. She's got to be supportive and complimentary, right?
That's it. It's got to work. And I think it goes vice versa. They've got to understand what my life is as well and what it consists of.
That's it.
So, hey, if it works, it works. If
Yeah.
it doesn't, it doesn't.
So what's your in terms of MMA? What's your official style? Is it jiu-jitsu or is it your discipline? I mean,
I guess I'm pretty mixed. Like I've got submissions as well as like knockouts. So I can, I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
That's what I mean. What are you a black belt in? BJJ.
Oh, okay, yeah. BJJ. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I've done black belt in BJJ. I've done some judo, done pure Muay Thai, done pure boxing. Obviously do MMA, which is a mix.
Yeah.
Done wrestling. So done a lot of different martial arts and like combat sports. So and just blending it together.
Yeah.
So I like to think I'm well-rounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of just being one pure thing.
Yeah. I grew up with a mate. He's 4th Dan,
Okay.
BJJ.
Oh, cool.
His name's
Nice.
Tim Hamilton. And man, every time, like when I first met him, he doesn't look like the guy that would be the type to, kick the shit, beat the shit out of someone. And he's not the type, but he could. I remember we'd be walking down the street in Northbridge and there'd be some domestic across the road and we'd assess it and I could see him assessing it and I'm just like, are you gonna? Yeah. Are you gonna? And fortunately nothing happened, but I'm just like, man, I never got to see it, but that's probably a good thing. But man, he is fast.
I could imagine, yeah.
Holy shit.
Been a 4th Dan in jiu-jitsu. It's like he spent some time doing it.
Oh man. He's telling me the regimes and how he got graded. I'm just like, how do you go through that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. For anybody that doesn't know or hasn't Googled yet, 4th Dan is like 4 more levels above black belt. You get black belt and then you start getting red stripes. Is that right?
Yeah, stripes.
Yeah.
So it's like I think first 2 it's like 2 years.
Yeah. Doesn't stop at black belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you going to go further with that or?
For me, now that I've got my black belt, it's just a waiting game. It's just doing the time. So,
yeah.
I can't remember. I think it was like 4 years till your first stripe after getting your black belt.
So it's literally a time thing now. Do you have to do anything in between other than remain active and keep, training?
No, there's no real written out thing you have to do.
Well, I mean, to prepare yourself to succeed in that grading.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Like it depends on the lineage you're training under. So there's so many different clubs, and they got their own thing kind of going, but the core fundamental of it's pretty much the same for most gyms. But even just some gyms will do things to earn your stripe, you gotta get all these rounds down, get them done, and get yourself pretty much burnt out and things like that. I guess at that stage you just keep doing what you do.
Yeah.
Once you get to a black belt, you're still learning, of course. I'm still always learning, but it's just a way of life, and you kind of just you just hop in the mat every day and just do your thing. It's just routine.
Yeah.
So,
for someone starting from scratch who wants to become a professional fighter, what are you telling them?
First, you got to step into a gym. I think that's the hardest for like young guys. Like, I think they get the misconception that they're going to walk and get bashed. I think that's what it is, a lot of it, or they're just nervous. Maybe they're going to get even just for like any age grown man, getting exposed. Because you're going to go there and you're not going to be the best. Not unless you're like some, I don't know, 7-foot specimen that weighs like 220 kilos of solid muscle. Like,
Fuck yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
No, I'm not quite there yet.
Well, you're pretty tall.
Yeah, 6'10" to 120.
Bloody hell.
Mixture of fat and muscle.
Oh, yeah. I definitely wouldn't want you, Blade, trying to jump on me, crush me.
Make my weight. Come up.
Yeah, I'll eat some food.
So they get exposed, though. They feel like they could get exposed because they're weak. They're defenseless. What happens? What happens when they just do it? What happens then?
I think it's just getting the first couple classes out of the way.
Yes.
I think from there, then you're going to see whether they do it or not.
Yeah, but see whether you do it or not. Pretend I'm that person. This will be a benefit to you. Those couple of classes, I want to do it, but obviously there's societal things that could come in, like the voices in your head or feeling inadequate, less of a man. And I don't want you to talk about your gym. I want you to talk about what good gyms do to make those people feel welcome and have that success sort of story there. Because when I did Aikido, great environment.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
Sitting down, the one thing I couldn't do properly is sit down on my knees on my feet bum. Right. I had an ACL reconstruction. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But they let me do it, but everyone was so nice, right? We learned about the wrist thumb escape thing. Yep. That was really cool. Got that for life. But everyone was so nice and just so accepting. And I didn't last long because I just kept getting head spins and I needed to not fuck my head up for footy.
Yeah.
But man, when I'm ready, I'm coming back. I've got all the confidence. Yeah. Probably just do MMA.
And that's it as well. It's like you already feel welcome at that gym. It's like even if you have time off, you're like, the doors are still open for me there. It's not like I feel rejected.
Yeah. What do you see of those people who do have that hesitation, but they do still come in and they do commit to those couple of initial lessons? What do you see after that with them personally?
I think they kind of they blend themselves in, so like if I'm just speaking of a general student, they're going to like it or they're not. And normally you'll tell within the first couple classes, not unless they're just a stone cold person and you just can't figure out a vibe. You're like, you're still rocking up after 5 years and he just does it. And some people just do that. That looks like they rock up and I don't even know if he enjoys it or not. And I'm like, and then you have to ask, you enjoying it? He's like, oh, I love it. And it's like, oh, okay, it doesn't look like you're loving it, So
as he's bleeding.
Yeah, it's just so. But I think it's it comes down to even you're saying before, what makes a person who just started want to keep coming back or even just step into the door, and it's like a good community, so a place where you can feel welcome, you're a part of it, no matter if for us as well, I can speak for ourselves. We've got people from all parts of the world, so we welcome anyone, and I think. And we have great, students who do the same. They welcome new people in. So I think that's if you got that first off the bat, it's sweet. That, you're going to go somewhere with that alone. Yeah. Especially for a gym where you're trying to choke each other and twist each other's arm off. So, you'd at least feel comfortable with the people you're training with.
Yeah, for sure. How important is it to have a mentor or a coach to get you to that professional point in your career?
I think it's definitely massive, and it depends on the individual, I think, as well, because you see people as you're saying before with people who don't have parents, or their parents are divorced and they just went off by themselves. Some people can make it, but I think it's you do need someone to guide you, someone obviously older, wiser, someone maybe who's already been in that sort of field or game, and can tell you the rights and wrongs, things to do and not to do, and just guide you, keep making you go forwards, keep climbing the ladder, And yeah, so I think it's massive. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously, I normally good examples like Custom Auto with Mike Tyson, something like that. You know, kid off the street. You know, like probably like a little punk back then, and then made him world champion. Just got in his head, told him the right things. Obviously, he put it to another level.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like 100%.
Angelo Dundee as well.
Yep.
For Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
What's my final question in this whole saga before we get to the next section is, apart from physical training, and what does it take in the mind?
You always. I've been using this one for a while, like just like fighting demons. You know, it's like it's always going to be up and down. Not even just physically, like, oh yeah, I'm really fit and I can push myself. It's like that's good, but there's gonna be moments when you're exhausted and done for, like beat up. You know, your joints are sore. And like you just want to, you get points where you're giving up, or just even just hormone levels. My hormone levels go up and down. Sometimes, you just completely wear your test out just from training, overtraining, and then you feel like crap, depressed. So just balancing out between balancing out your emotions and being able to just consistently just push forwards and be like, this is right. This is a part of it. There's gonna be days when I feel like crap. Days when I feel good. So it's just kind of just shaking it off as quick as you can and kind of getting back in the flow of it, getting back into routine. For me anyway.
Yeah.
Just try not to like verge off and let it like just eat you up. Whatever it may be. You feel crap one day. You just want to give up. It's like, give it an hour. Just let it shake off. Maybe think about something else. Get up and start moving. Just for me, that's how it is for me anyway. I can only speak for myself in that sort of sense. Yeah,
that's good advice. We've got a section called Pod Decks. So
Okay.
The Pod Decks, it's an app, and shout outs to Pod Decks. This isn't sponsored. They're just good app. There's themes in here. I want you to grab my phone.
All right.
And scroll through the themes and just pick one, and then from there I will answer questions out of there, and it'll be quick fire. As you're trying to choose a theme, perfect segue for me to thank my sponsor, Idea Academy. Idea Academy is a school in Perth. It's an alternative learning centre, place, environment in the heart of the city. Brilliant women behind this, brilliant men, brilliant people behind this, who help the year 10s, 11s and 12s who feel like the education system is outdated, which it is. Thank you for being there. Second year in, looking forward to that thing becoming massive. So check out Idea Academy. Innovation, design, entrepreneurship academy. Done? Which one?
Let's go conspiracy.
Oh.
I've never done a conspiracy, I just watched Joe Rogan the other week.
Oh,
talking
shit.
about all sorts of stuff.
Do you know much about conspiracy theories, though?
Oh, I've got to be well versed in it.
We'll have a go. We'll see how we go.
Yeah. Depends on the conspiracy.
Okay. A lot of these... Okay, have you heard of the Fiji mermaid?
I've heard briefly about it, the Fiji mermaid.
Okay.
And then the locals are saying that they've seen it and they've pulled fishermen in.
Yeah. What do you, like Loch Ness Monster and stuff, what do you think of old school conspiracies like that?
Loch Ness Monster, I don't like. Every photo is always like so grainy and pixelated.
Yeah.
Like Bigfoot, I think is more plausible than it is Loch Ness Monster. But we're still discovering the bottom of the ocean, aren't we?
Yeah, true. Some deep shit.
Yeah, that's it.
Some deep shit.
You never know.
What's the best conspiracy theory that you've ever heard of? Or the most interesting one?
The JFK.
JFK?
Assassination.
Yeah.
I think I watched it as a kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And people going into it, it could be this, could be that, So, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. What do you think of people who created hoaxes to make money?
Depends on the hoax. Like the crop circles was a pretty good one.
Yeah?
Yeah. I found that pretty funny, but yeah. I guess it's cheap parlor tricks.
Yeah. Do you have any go-to conspiracy I'll start again. Do you have any go-to conspiracy theory websites?
No, I do not.
No. Reddit's always a good one.
Yeah, I guess like just
YouTube.
Just Google.
Okay. There's some really long ones here. Have you ever heard about DUMBS, Deep Underground Military Bases?
I watched one. I think it was Joe Rogan, and that fella was it Antarctica
Yeah.
with the lasers.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about that. I don't know about that.
Yeah, you have to really go down rabbit holes with a lot of these.
Yeah.
Would you say that government... probably get demonetized from this. Would you say that government corruption counts as conspiracy?
No.
Okay.
I think it just happens with humans.
They're just crooks.
There's good ones and bad ones.
Yeah. Why do you think anti-vaccine conspiracy theories are still so popular in modern times?
I think because it was still impacted by it in some way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever... You're not the right person to ask this, but I'll do it anyway. Have you ever worried your phone was bugged?
Yes.
Wow. Why?
It seems like my phone listens to me. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like I don't
Zuckerberg's
know.
bugged us all.
I've joked about like bombs and all sorts of stuff. It's like
You're on
apparently
the
that
list.
pops up.
Yeah.
So,
How to make this?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
What type of C4 are you?
9/11. You're like, oh shit. Here you go.
Right. Cool. Oh, here's a good one. Do you ever keep your laptop camera covered with tape so you can't be spied on?
I have done that,
What?
and I have not done that. Like just being lazy. Like I don't know. When I was younger, I think I used to do it with a blue tack.
Yeah.
Now I just don't care. They've probably seen my face enough times,
Yeah.
Probably some random Chinese dude and some government bloody base just looking at me.
Yeah. Do you listen to stuff they don't want you to know or other conspiracy related podcasts?
Nah, just your generic like Joe Rogan, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to the hard yarns. They're the Perth ones. Best in the business in Australia. Why does the flat earth theory still have so much traction?
There's that many people, and I don't know. I just want to say they're stupid, pretty much. Like I believe that that's round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, final section. We've got the phone, the red phone. Now, it's red, by the way.
Okay.
Did you know that?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, you said you're red,
Oh, yeah,
green
I'm red,
colour.
green. I can tell that's red, but it's the shades. It's shades I can't tell.
Oh, the shades.
Yeah, that's like it's red.
It's fucking red. So
Yeah.
if it's like in the dark over there, you can't tell.
Yeah, it feels like a mixed amongst the other stuff.
Yeah.
Like navy blue I struggle with, things
Oh,
like
okay.
that. I gotta really look at it to
Yeah.
know it's blue.
Yeah. All right. Pick up the phone, and then just sit back down near the mic. Yep, all good. And it's Dana. It's Dana White. What do you tell Dana?
Send me location. Get me on.
Well,
Done. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. So you're straight on.
Straight to business.
Straight on.
He doesn't seem like a man who would mess around and beat around the bush.
Yeah, fair enough. That's good though. Alrighty, finally sign on off with one piece of advice in broad for the kids. And if you can look at that camera there as you say it.
For the kids?
Yeah, for the
in
kids.
general?
For the kids in general.
Look after each other. Something I don't see as much these days is just respect and honor amongst people. Even just little simple things. Lady drops a purse, picking it back up for her, little things like that. It does go a big way, and I believe it leads you to be a better person. So yeah, just one thing, one day at a time. Do right things by people. Look after each other, and treat each other right. And for kids, listen to your parents. They know more than you. Anthony
Drilich, thank you for coming on the show. Hope you enjoy the conversation.
Bloody happy to be here.
Happy to be here. All right. See you guys. Thanks very much.